So sounds like you got a beef with this chapter already.
I do. I have a welcome everybody back to the New Blackmer's podcast. We love you guys. But this chapter right here, that's how I feel. Okay,
I love this chapter.
I can tell why you love this chapter, and I'll tell you why I hate this chapter on the low. First of all, it should have been two chapters. It should have been once the actual event was concluded, and then aftermath of the whole conversations and the whole like dinner and Varys and all that kind of stuff. That should have been a separate conversation and a separate chapter. You put so much meat on this actual like chapter. Like if your brain was like, "Oh, what's gonna happen? This gonna happen," you go down a rabbit hole, bro, of so many things you missed during the actual like
It's a long
TV
day.
series.
It's a long day for Ned.
You miss everything. You're like, yo, why did they not show this in the show? Why did they not do it this kind of way? There's so many like hidden gems with inside this one chapter. It was brilliant, but I hated it because as you watch the actual program, it doesn't hold weight of every little detail that could have been on, and that's why I gotta fight it because like I thought I knew this chapter. I'm like, yeah, reminiscing, flashbacks in my head. Nah, bro, there's so much depth to this conversations of like lore that I was yeah, it was amazing. I can't lie.
So guys, if you guys are struggling, we are back in King's Landing. We picked pretty much just picked right back up
Yeah,
from Sansa. Um, Ned's at the tournament, and what I like about both of these chapters, like back to back, is that like they both kind of go in thinking it's gonna like the day is gonna go one way, and the day just like completely turns, like for the worst. Um, and like for Ned, this chapter is just like one big like revelation after revelation after revelation. Like to your point, so like your first time reading through this, like what was that like? Just like going from like the tournament and just like seeing like us, the reader, knowing more than Ned knows. Even
yeah.
though Ned should probably still know a little bit more, which we'll get into. But
I feel like he
um,
should. I definitely feel like he should. But
yeah. I mean, he's got a.
okay,
We
let's
know
start
Ned's
off
not
with
smart.
the whole like the breakfast scene with King Robert. Okay, let's just start off with that. The whole overall putting the armor on and how Ned mentioned that he was woken up in the middle of his night because of, I guess, an argument had taken place that because the king wanted to participate inside the actual event.
Hmm.
Everyone around the king is like, "You're stupid. You can't do that. Like, you're the king. Like, relax." But he is so like just narrow-minded.
Stubborn.
And yes, in his ways of how he does things is like, I'm here to fight. Like he said
Yeah,
himself, he's basically bored with the overall. He loved the fact of earning and fighting for a kingdom. He doesn't like sitting on the throne. He gets bored. It's not his style. And he was thought this to be like a rush. Like he feel like he's like put his hands over his heart. Like he felt like the actual urge of the blood that he wants to do something. Bro, no one's gonna hit you. Like we had to like, even if they wanted to, they're not going to. So it's
no,
gonna be unfair.
no. You're the king, Robert. No one would risk harming you. No one
and
would
the,
risk harming you.
and the fact that it took multiple people saying it for him to even like, all right, cool. And
No,
then
really, it just took Ned to say it.
yeah, but like it took him more than one time. This conversation, like, bro, this is not smart. Like you're
Yeah,
the king.
yeah,
Like what are you doing? But then you just need a glimpse of like Ned and how the king's friendship and childhood and how like things were just so. This is what Ned
yeah,
missed.
yeah. Oh yeah,
That was
yeah.
super cool.
See, this is one of my favorite chapters of just like Ned and Robert hanging out because like
Yeah,
we don't get many of these, and like you
yes,
can. I mean, I wouldn't say like George hits us over the head with it, but like we get a lot of exposition through like Ned's POVs about hanging out with Robert when they were younger, and like in these chapters you get to have a small little peek into like what their friendship has been like over all these years. You know what I mean? So it's cool to see them just kind of just buddy up and just like hang out a little bit.
yeah. They were talking about this reminiscent things and like even like, bro, you're too big for your armor. You gain some weight. You eat a lot, bro. Let's just take it what it is, right? Even though those jabs that no one else would ever say to the king, that you just see the rapport they have with each other, and it was like refreshing. And then you saw how Ned was like, "This is the guy. If I had to come and tell him what's going on, he would have my back." He
Right.
gets the reassurance of like, this is the person that I want to do things for.
Right.
So we go from that part, right? Tell me about how you felt about the stories of like him just like almost invested in the actual battle. And it almost seems like he has a battle with himself daily and like he doesn't fully understand that the Lannisters are surrounding him. And Ned's walking in and seeing like, bro, you love battling, but you also don't see the battle that's actually happening around you.
Like right under your
It's
nose.
right there.
Yeah.
Like all the
Yeah.
squires, oh, they're all Lannisters. Like you are
Yeah,
surrounded.
I was gonna say, to our point about like all the good things that are in this chapter between like Ned and Robert. Ned is constantly like all these good thoughts are intertwined with all these negative thoughts about like I mean again the chapter opens up. I mean we skipped over it, but the chapter opens up with him viewing the body of Sir Hugh who died
Yeah,
in
yeah.
jousting, right? And so like Ned's trying he's starting to the wheels are turning in Ned's head. He's starting to figure out everything even when he goes to Robert's tent, when he's they're messing with the kids.
Mhm.
Ned recognizes that they're Lannisters, and he's looking around and he's like, wow, like this Lannisters everywhere around here. Like
Yeah.
they are like really consolidating a lot of power around you, Robert, and like this is getting, you know what I mean? So like with
Mhm.
all the good stuff comes like all the the inevitable Ned brooding that comes with it, but for good reason.
Yeah, he's just so blind to the fact. And then he mentioned how like he was told this was a good thing for making sure the kingdom was solid, and how this and how she's beautiful to look at, but just everything else is just
Yeah.
nasty work.
Yeah,
And then
they
you think
hate
about it,
they hate each other. It's a loveless marriage.
but that's a metaphor of how the Lannisters are. Period. Like imagery wise, people might think they're the most beautiful people in the kingdom. Like they're just gorgeous folks, but the inner core, they're terrible
They're
people.
horrible people. They're horrible people.
So when he's describing this, I'm like, yeah, bro, you have no idea. Like you are just scratching the surface of what this bloodline really is, and just having him all around you, and like you being such a crave man. How do you not see this?
Yeah,
How do you not know that everything you worked for and love, you don't see that you are about to lose it
yeah,
all?
yeah, yeah. It's kind of sad, like reading these chapters over again because it's just like we know where this is going, and it's just like Ned was a little bit slow to begin with, not being able to put this stuff together. But like, I'll give him
Mm-hmm.
credit, I guess, in this chapter. This is a lot of things being revealed to him in this chapter, like constantly,
Yeah.
throughout the whole day. Like I said, it's a long day for Ned. This is a long day for Ned.
So tell me, for folks that don't know, after they got Rob King to say, like, know what, he's not going to participate. All right. Then we go to the actual event. For people that don't understand the armor and the shine and the certain emblems and how, like, what you wear and your prestige, how this matters amongst the people and how they're seeing
And
things.
and this is where you show it off. Like you show off your wealth and stuff at tourneys. Like this is the big thing. This is what people do in Westeros. Like if you're somebody,
Mm-hmm.
you're at a tourney.
So the matchups, bro. Explain to the folks how these matchups, like, just this is a big hit. These are some big hitters.
So this there's a little tidbit in here
Mm-hmm.
that kind of exposes a little bit of Littlefinger's lying about the fights, which we're going to get into. You were talking about matchups. I think
Mm-hmm.
it was in the chapter. It was Sir Jamie and the Hound against
Yes.
each other, right? And Jamie, or I'm sorry, Renly and Littlefinger are placing bets on the fight, or not
Mm-hmm.
the fight, on the joust. I think Renly puts his money on the Hound, and
Mm-hmm.
Littlefinger puts his money on Jamie. Jamie loses, and Renly says something like, "Too bad the imp wasn't here. I would have won twice as much." Now this is interesting because remember, Littlefinger told Ned and Kat that he got the dagger from Tyrion from a bet he lost in a joust, implying that Tyrion bet
Mm-hmm.
against Jamie. But we know, based on what Renly just said, that Tyrion would never bet against Jamie.
Ever.
So
That's
we
like it's
know that's a
yeah.
lie.
Yeah. But Ned didn't pick up on that.
But Ned didn't pick up on that. Like
Or
I
at
was reading that
all.
again, and I was like, "It's right." No, of course not. Of course Tyrion wouldn't bet against Jamie. Are you nuts?
Never. he adores Jamie. Like
Adores
that's
Jamie.
everything to him is Jamie. No matter how bad the kingdom was, he's the only family member that actually treated him with decency. So he's never going to go against him. So seeing that, great highlight for you bringing that up. Tell me also about the previous chapter, how the conversation, and then how we see the Hound now, and then how we see Sansa like absorbing everything, and how her feelings may have changed a little bit.
Yeah, so it's interesting because like, you know, Ned talks about like, you know, him walking up trying to find her in the crowd
Yeah,
and sitting next to her, and like she didn't even realize that like he'd even showed up next to her. Like she was so glued in. Um, and even like after the Hound wins, Sansa says, "I knew the Hound would win." Even after, you know, the night that they had, you know what I mean? Just
yes,
last night, you know what I mean? So it's just like I think it kind of shows that like Sansa's paying attention a little bit more after yesterday. You know what I mean?
that
Which
conversation changed her.
good. You know, she needs a little dose of reality every now and again,
Because
which
in the
she'll get.
prior chapter, I felt she was more like just she wasn't aloof, but she was like really engaged with the love and the stars and
Mm-hmm.
everything about the shiny stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I think she was really locked in the actual person of the Hound, the like severity of like this is like he's dangerous and he can do some dangerous things.
Yeah.
This
Now,
king
now, now,
was
don't get me wrong. Sir Loras
yeah,
still pulled up and was flexing on
he
everybody.
was, he was, he
He
was,
was he was still dripped out.
he
So
was.
we got to give a shout out to Sir Loras for being dripped.
Can we mention one key part though that was so cool in the reading? Is that when they mentioned how Jamie had to get up and his helmet wouldn't come off, and how
Oh
it was
yeah,
so indented.
yeah.
This if you guys understand, the Lannisters are just that super popular person in class that you won't dare make fun of this person.
They're the Regina George of Westeros.
There you go. So you have King over there bagging and laughing in front of all of his folks. Just laughing because Jamie has his head stuck so much. They had to walk off and he could not reveal himself.
Yep. And I love that little tidbit about people kind of like trying not to laugh, but like, you know, trying to like kind of like laughing
Yeah.
quietly, and then you just hear Robert just, you know,
Oh no.
having a good old belly laugh. You know what I mean? Because he just doesn't care. Because Robert just
Not
doesn't
at
care. He
all.
doesn't care about anything.
Anything that shows the Lannisters in a dim light, he's gonna embrace it. And this is the
Yep.
king of all
Yep.
people. And
He's
like,
gonna eat it up.
yeah, I just love that part.
Yeah.
So we have the next matchup, my friend. Speaking of brothers, when they said that his horse was like a pony, it tells you how massive this
And
gentleman
and,
is.
and Ned kind of gives you like comparisons of like how big people were. Like he talks about, you know, Robert and all his brothers being big and
Mm-hmm.
Hodor being bigger than him, but this dude would tower over even him.
All of them.
So it's like, okay, we know how big Robert is or was. We know how big Sandor is, the Hound
Yeah.
is. This guy's bigger than all of them. So like
Yes.
it's giving you like this visual. I'm like, this guy gives me the creeps. Like every time he's on the page, I'm reading about him. I'm nervous because I think he's just gonna crash out.
Now he crashed out. They went more in the depth of this guy and the question of like things of his prior relationships and the stories we've heard of this gentleman, and it just adds to his like dark aura. Like
This guy's the devil.
he's
He's
just
the devil.
bad news.
He's the devil. There's nothing redeeming about him. He's pure evil, and that's what we're getting in this chapter. He's just pure evil.
So when they're back and forth jousting's happening, and you're like you've read this many times, but when you're actually like reading this moment and then seeing what the result was, did you feel like, yeah, about time? Or did you feel like, oh, this is about to go bad?
What do you mean, like about time? Like what? Like about time? Like oh yeah, he's crashing out. Of course he is.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Like when you're reading that, like you know, he got up and he was boiling with anger or whatever it says in the text. It's
Yes.
like yeah, no, he's gonna crash out. And he calls for a sword. I was just like, oh my god, here we go.
He fought for his sword to kill his sword.
Here we go, man. Why are you like this?
When I was like listening to it, I'm like, first of all, guys, an audiobook. It's 49 minutes for the audiobooks version of this actual chapter. And then there's certain parts that you listen to, like, dang, he had to do that. He didn't have to kill the horse. Like, there was no need for that. Like, you just lost, bro. Just take the L and keep it
Nope.
moving. For you
We
to
can't.
kill everyone else around you.
Nope.
And why
we
was your
can't.
sword even that close? Like, this is supposed to be.
Because he's a psycho and he's a crash dummy. That's why. He's
That
the
was great.
psychopath. That's why.
It was a great listening to this part right here and like everything's going on. That was a key moment that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, no, it again, it's just I think it's just again introducing the character,
Hmm.
some of the characters, and even the Hound stepping in and saving Sir Loris's life. Like you get a little bit more of, all right, this guy's a little bit more conflicted than his brother. His brother's just the spawn of fucking Satan, but at
Yeah.
least this guy's got some kind of code. We don't know what it is yet, but
I thought it was interesting when they said the Hound because at this time, the Hound came to save him. He did not swipe for his brother's face,
hmm
even though he could. Like his brother did not have his helmet on or nothing. Like he could have went for a cut,
yep,
but then his brother is trying to take the Hound's head off.
yeah, he was.
Like, and then also hearing the king's voice and it's saying basically cease all this, and how the Hound drops immediately and gives respect, and then you're like, the Mountain just like, no, I'm to walk away, and everyone says just let him go. To the point
Yeah,
where like we're never going to try to contain
yeah,
him or show
yeah. He's a
respect.
wild dog, man. He's a wild
Let
dog.
him walk away. And it's
Yes.
just like, in comparison, it's like, is this guy really the Hound, or is he more respectful and understands what's happening more than people just because his actual face? Like, he's more intellect in his head than he's still a little creepo, but he's way
Yeah.
better than his actual brother.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Which by the way is setting an incredibly low bar because the mountain is he's just he's just he's bad news. He's bad news. He's really bad news. That's all I've got. That's all I've got.
That whole sequence was so funny to me because all I can see just a big person that's crashing. Everybody's looking like, I'm not stopping it. You go ahead. You do what you want to do. I'm gonna stay right here. When he's done, I'm gonna stay right
I,
here.
I mean, and they give you some of his, again, some of his history. They talk about,
Yeah.
the rumors that, he killed, Rhaegar's family. You know what I mean, during the sack of King's Landing. So like we know what kind of guy this is.
Did he kill his
Everyone who
dad?
comes across him mysteriously dies.
Did he really kill his dad?
Probably.
Because there's like a part in there. I'm trying to miss. Like they mentioned the fire, the hell. They mentioned the.
A sister that died.
They also mentioned the force of love on someone else and the killing of that
Yep.
family.
Yep.
And then he mentioned like how all of the inheritance went to him, and how the Hound never went back.
He left the same day and never came back.
Wow,
I mean,
this
it's
character
all,
has
it's all there.
a lot of layers. Only in a short period of time, he's actually been inside the actual stories.
And
Okay, so what's
that's
next?
about as deep as it goes. Just pure
All
evil.
right, so this is all taking place right now. We all see the aftermath and the actual event. Ned mentioned to Sansa that no one really gets hurt in the actual events. And you
Yeah.
said you start off with the actual story chapter with him viewing the actual body. Is that being a dad or that's just being naive?
Now, I think in the moment he was just trying to be like a dad, but I think he kind of because they're experiencing like a lot of culture shock coming down to King's Landing. So I
Yeah.
think like even Ned, thought that he could just be like, "Oh no, sweetling, everything's okay," but he, forgot. Oh, just yesterday, homie died from the same thing. So I don't know. Maybe he won't be okay. I don't know. Let's see how it goes.
Okay, so what we got next, brother?
All right. So after the tournament,
Mhm.
Ned goes back to his room and he has a visitor. Now, this is where things really start to kind of hit the fan. Is when a lot of revelations start coming out. Um, it's a guy who's clearly disguised, or not clearly disguised, but he's disguised, and it ends up being Varys. And I think that was a good little nod to kind of like show like what Varys' skill set is. Like Ned saying, I would have walked right past you and not known that it was you. He even changes his voice and everything, right? So it's like it kind of shows you how much of a little like master spy that Varys is early on.
They mentioned he smelled like sweat, and normally I guess he smells more like clean and refreshing.
Yeah,
All of about his everything about his character was
yeah,
then.
mud boots, everything. Like he goes all out. He goes all out.
Yeah.
Um, so Varys is talking to him about kind of everything that's going on, um, and basically telling Ned that yeah, I agree with you. The Lannisters are behind everything. They're trying to kill the king, and I don't know. I've read this a bunch of times, so like from your perspective, like your first time reading it through, seeing Ned like trying to get the gears turning in his head to like put everything together because he's still asking himself, why would anyone want Bran dead? Why would this? Why would
Yeah,
And it's just like, come on,
just look, just
figure it
look,
out.
just look, and like even when they mentioned about how like Varys is just a perfect piece for this for everything about Game of Thrones. He's
Hmm.
perfect. If Littlefinger's more of extremist when it comes to his tactics, but he's still like manipulating. Varys is that guy where like I believe your word more than anyone else because like what's your true intentions? Your true intentions is about peace and the kingdom. You
Right,
understand all the games, but let's go talk about facts. Yes, I believe you. Okay. Why did he die? Asking too many questions. Okay, like he's giving you little pieces of things, but
right.
he's not telling you. He wants you to figure out yourself. So when they start talking about why the Lannisters will want everyone deceased, right? When you, as a reader and as a historian of the Game of Thrones, did you know this early that the Lannisters were just trying to take over the kingdom? Or
Well,
you look at it as just like it's just a lot of like, what did you think about everything?
you think a lot of things, right? Because there were little hints throughout this chapter and throughout the story so far that touch on Robert's kids not being his kids.
Yeah.
Like we talk all about, how visual George writes. They talk about the descriptions of Gendry, Robert's bastard son in King's Landing, who Ned says looks just like him. He's got the black hair, he's got the blue eyes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Renly looks like a young Robert. Um, the little girl that he has in the veil has dark hair, presumably, right? And so like even Robert talking to Ned, talking about, um, you know, how could I have made a son like that? Talking about Joffrey, talking about the only thing that keeps me from just going to Essos and just being a sellsword is the idea of him on the throne and Cersei behind him.
He died. He did drop that line.
And
He.
and so like you're getting all these little tidbits
Mm-hmm.
about like Joffrey being nothing like Robert.
And Ned just didn't pick up on that. He's like, "Oh, you were wild back then," and Rob was like, "If he was wild, I would be okay with that."
Right. He's not wild. He's
He's
sick.
he's that was him. So for King Robert to say like, if he was just that, I'm fine, and you notice more layers to it. And then you mentioned how the prior kid, and like in this, I did not know this until I actually read this, listened to this chapter, that King Robert had another child, a daughter from like the past
Mm-hmm.
that he had mentioned
Yeah,
about.
he's got a couple. Yeah.
Yeah,
Robert's
so
got a
like in your
couple.
head, you're like, there's so many that happened before he was king, so you're not even thinking about the heir. You're just thinking about there's kids. There's no big deal, right? They're all girls. I mean, the girls, as far as the girl back in the day, as far as like her and how her age would be 17 right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's so many things that happened before he became a king that now that he's in the actual kingdom, what really matters right now? What doesn't matter? Like, do people care about you having other kids, or does it have to be a certain particular breed that we need for this? So Robert's getting all these things basically in his life, and then Ned's listening to all these things with Varys, and it's just not registering with him. So are you like an irritated reader every time you listen to Ned like absorb all these things?
Yeah,
Or you're
I'm
like
I'm
you
ir-
like
I'm irritated every time I read Ned because I
okay,
love I love Ned, and every time I read it, I'm like, maybe he'll figure it out this time. Obviously, he doesn't. Um, but yeah, no, it's good in this chapter because like Varys lays it out for him
yeah,
about as well as he can lay it out for him without just explicitly telling him, you know, exact coordinates, basically. But I mean,
like bro, like look around, look at Robert, look at Lannisters, look at Robert.
yeah, right, exactly,
Right.
exactly,
He's not there.
exactly. And I mean, and every time a Lannister comes up, we always get the same description:
Mm-hmm.
golden curls, golden curls, golden curls, golden curls,
Yes,
everywhere.
yes. So there's a part in the story I'm going to ask you about was when he asks about how did he die? Asking sort of like his
Hmm.
Can you go into more depth with that? Because the person that was apparently I thought that Varys said did it is a guy that died. Is that what happened? The very end.
That's what Varys implies, right?
So
Like,
it made me feel like when the first chapter first started, they're viewing someone who passed away from the
mm-hmm.
actual event, but he had this very shiny, brand new armor. And then we get
He
to the
was
part where
he
the
was a
chapter
newly
with
made knight.
Varys. Yeah, and they're like, we're not even sure he even paid completely for his actual armor. And they're like, how does he get the armor? Then we mentioned about how he really died. They mentioned the poison and everything else. And like, okay, well, who did it? And we mentioned how there's so many Lannisters around. So can you like put those pieces together? Because from our new reader, is
I mean, yeah. So like for me, I think it's implied that Sir Hugh, who was John Aaron's squire, was given something he thought was some kind of potion or something from someone in the room while John Aaron was sick, and it was the poison.
mm-hmm.
And he gave it to him maybe knowingly or unknowingly. But, Lannisters don't like loose ends, so
That is like nips in the bud that entire section of why he really came to find out who really now.
yep.
You know that even if there's no one to even ask anymore because that person's presumably dead.
Yep. And Varys is telling he's saying that to him. It's just like, oh, shame he died before you had a chance to talk to him. What a coincidence. Wouldn't you know? Oh, well, I gotta go.
That was just great. Like just remind us that Ned is just bro,
Yeah.
you need help. Like
Yeah.
you need someone there that can like speak for you or be your ambassador. Like because it's just not clicking.
It's not
I don't
clicking. It's starting to. This is about as clicked as it can click for Ned
yeah.
right now. It's all but laid out. He just at this point now he's just like trying to find proof.
So we mentioned about the Lannisters and how dirty they play in the game, right? And then you also mentioned how King Robert is bullheaded, stubborn, he's everything, right? And Varys goes more into plans of talking about how they were really planning on killing the king and how they wanted him to really participate in this and how it will be just ruled as an accident or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ned's like trying to be like, well, if you knew about it, why don't you say anything about it? How does that work? Because you mentioned the line saying that I rule whisperers, not warriors. Like, just.
I mean, like Varys is like, I mean, what do you want me to do, dude? Like, look at me. Do you see a warrior standing in front of you? Well, I'm gonna pick up a sword and
Mm-hmm.
come on, come on. This is what I can do for you.
It is pretty much tell you what's going on and for you to actually act upon it. Now, towards the end of that chapter, he mentioned about why was Jolly Gentleman killed, and he mentioned because he was asking questions. Does, how does Varys not know what's going to happen to Ned also? Like, he's doing the exact same thing.
I don't know. I don't know if Varys was like helping John Aaron.
Okay.
Like if John Aaron was looking for stuff the same way Ned is right now, like Varys probably knew too, right?
Yeah.
But maybe the Lannisters just found out that John Aaron was on to something before Varys could get to him. I don't know.
Because, like, you're just following the same path.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you're surrounded by, you're asking
yeah.
questions
That's a good
again.
point. Yeah.
And you just mentioned he died because of asking questions. And you also mentioned that the entire staff is pretty much Lannisters. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, and I think Varys has got a lot of shit with him, but I do think I believe him in this scene
Mm-hmm.
where he is kind of looking out for the realm here because I don't think anyone wants Joffrey on the throne.
That tells you a lot, bro. This man is
And like
so
Robert
young.
is not a great king by any stretch of the imagination, but
No.
Varys is like I'd rather this guy.
And for Robert even to say he doesn't want to be king, but is staying so he does not give up the king spot to him, that just tells you right there that this guy's the wicked of all wicked.
No bueno, no bueno.
This was a very I wanted to the people who made this should go back and just redo these scenes. Like there's so many details that I want to see this again, but I want to see in totality. I want to see every bit of what he wrote on the paper. I know it's not realistic. I understand that. But as a person that's trying to absorb everything, I need that. I need to see a visual.
This is why I like reading the book is like in some ways so much better because you get so much more info that you can't
Yeah.
really convey like on a television screen. You know what I
I'm
mean?
starting to agree with you, bro. At first, I was like a little hesitant because I'm like, nah, they did a tremendous job on that. They got the show. They got me even like interested in this right here.
I mean they did. I mean
Yeah,
they
they did, but
great
like
job.
more of I like
Yeah.
fast forward. There's when the wedding takes place. There's gonna be some details that I didn't know about that I can't like.
Yeah.
They're gonna be crushing because like, you know the end result. But I'm just like, as a fan of like TV shows and movies, I'm becoming more invested in the books by us doing this pod. This has been really cool. This is really cool.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, man. I
Yeah.
hope you guys are enjoying it too. You know, don't forget to like, subscribe. Next week, I think we are with Tyrion. I believe is next.
We didn't even mention in this part too when Ned was talking to Arya about the training and everything else
Oh
because he was doing.
yeah, we
Yo,
skipped
there
over
were so
that.
many. There were so many things happening in this chapter. It was like, and it was dancing and like the bruising and how excited she was hopping on one leg and how Ned was like, "You, I could find someone else. You never do all that."
And she's like, nah, I'm good. No, I'm good. Syrio is he's the one for me. I'm good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
tomorrow we're catching cats. Like there's so many things like little like
Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Dad. I got it.
yeah.
Don't worry
This
about it.
this is a
Don't
great
worry about
chapter.
it. Don't worry about
Tremendous chapter. It was.
it. But all right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll catch y'all next week with Tyrion and Darron. It's been real, bro.
Absolutely, bro.
And we'll catch you guys next time.
Yes, sir.